Hey everybody, it's your boy Rebel here, and I got the rifles to platinum in Call of Duty Modern Warfare, so I went ahead and ranked them. It's the M4, just use the M4.
On your feet, soldier! We are leaving!
Alright, so how's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's having a wonderful day. I'm wearing an undershirt that sleeves are longer than my button-up sleeves. So I got the rifles to platinum, huzzah, huzzah, hurrah, hurrah, all that good stuff. So I went ahead and ranked them, all 8 of them. And yes, I am aware there are 9 rifles, but you don't need the Ram 7 to get Damascus. So honestly, I haven't even touched it yet. But by the looks of the kill feed and how many times I die to it, I'd have to say it's probably higher on the list than lower. So anyways, without further ado, coming in at number 8 is the FAL. And yes, I know statistically that this should be a higher ranking gun, but I did go ahead and play one round with each of these guns back to back to back to back to back just to get some platinum gameplay with them, and the FAL was giving me the hardest time. I was dying up close, I was dying at range, I was dying medium distances. It didn't really matter what I did or what I had decked out on this. It just really couldn't compete, especially against SMGs at close range, and then you got the M2 carbine coming in at long range and the Kar 98, and this thing really doesn't stand a chance at any distance. I mean, if you can be good with it, it will be higher on this list for you, but overall, not everybody is going to be able to rapidly hit R2 or RT as fast as they can to get these shots off, so chances are it's not going to be statistically the best gun, and it might statistically be the worst gun for you if you're not that good at trigger finger. And coming in at number 7, we have the FR556, or the FAMAS 3-round burst rifle. Now this gun is one of those other ones, it's just like the FAL. Statistically, it's pretty good. Statistically, it has a fast time to kill. However, when you're at close range, you're not going to be able to hit all 3 shots of a burst. You may get lucky and do it, but it does not happen common. And at long range, the recoil bounces you off target, and you can't really get that many consecutive shots from the same burst. It really excels at middle range, but there's also a delay between the bursts. I find it just bounces off target. Yeah, it is kind of fun as more of a novelty weapon to use, being that it is a 3-round burst, but if you're looking at it pragmatically, if you're just a standard player, everything else on this list ahead of it is probably going to do a little better. And there may be instances where you do melt somebody, it only takes like a second because you get all 3 rounds from the burst hitting them and dropping them. Then yes, statistically that's amazing, but let me know how often that really happens to you. If you're good, if you have accuracy, it'll happen frequently, but if not, it's gonna make this gun more of a hindrance. I just found that I didn't enjoy this gun as much as all of the other guns that came ahead of it. Coming in at number 6, the SCAR. Yes, the FN SCAR 17. It is fine now, especially after the buff to recoil control, or the nerf to recoil that came along with this. And as far as the high damage, high recoil, low rate of fire rifles go, it's not bad. You can succeed with this. However, because it has a 20-round magazine by default and can only get up to 30 and has one of the slower reload times, and the recoil, even though it's better, it's more manageable, it's still there, and it is a little harder to mitigate than the other high damage, high recoil weapons on this list. And because of that, I do think it's a fine weapon. I honestly was going to place it higher, but after playing around with all of them, I realized that no, I think it deserves its place here at number 6. And coming in at number 5, the AK-47. Yes, I did want to rank this one a little higher too, but after playing with all of the weapons, this is where it ended up, just barely ahead of the SCAR. And that's because by default, what does it have, 30 rounds in the mag? And it has the fastest reload time of the rifles. And yes, the first 3 rounds that come out of the barrel are gonna make that gun kick like a mule. But I found that if you deck it out with recoil control, you can really mitigate the recoil on it slightly better than you can with the SCAR, making it not only just barely more manageable in the recoil department, but just better because it has more ammunition and a faster reload time that you don't have to waste perks on to help mitigate that. And because of that, the AK is number 5. Now these next three, 4 through 2, is what really kind of drew my patience. It was really hard to narrow these down and to pick one. I had to play 2 extra rounds just switching between these 3 weapons to figure out how I was going to place them. And coming in at number 4 is the weapon that I wanted to put at number 1. I wanted to put this one at number 1 on the list because I feel like it might not be as good as the number 1 gun on the list, but it's not OP like the number 1 gun on the list, so I feel like using it says more about about how good you are, and it makes it a funner gun to use, because when you do better, you know it's not just because you have the M4. And coming in at number 4, if you haven't guessed, is the Kilo. Yeah, I really wanted to rank this one higher, and I know you guys are shocked if you're like, wait, what other guns have you not listed? How are those above this one? I played 2 rounds with these next 3 guns only, switching between them every few deaths just to try to narrow this down. And the Kilo, for some reason, was just missing shots. Yes, it is, what, a 4-shot kill? Maybe a 3 if you're getting headshot. Whatever it is, I found that I was missing too many shots to have the fast time to kill that this gun really does offer. I don't know what it was about me missing shots. I don't think it was the lobbies, because it happened in multiple lobbies, and the other guns I was using in those lobbies still ended up outperforming this one. But there's something about the Kilo 141 that is just, it falls under its expectations. You think it's going to do better, you think it's going to do well, but it really doesn't, and it's kind of sad. And I really wanted to rank this gun at number 1 and be like, heh, screw you, M4, but unfortunately this gun just didn't outperform the top 3, at least in my opinion. Statistically speaking, yes, but I feel like a hands-on test, you really get the feel of it. This gun just bounced around a little too much for me, and it made me miss too many shots. And somehow, because of that, the M13 is actually coming in above it at number 3. A gun that I originally had on the back of my list all the way at number 8, because I was like, just use the M4 or the Kilo, they're better. This one is, why would you even use it? There's better options. But then I was running around with it, and I was doing good with it, and I was like, yeah, I might have a faster TTK with another weapon, but this thing can handle its own pretty well. It really can. I mean, I'm putting it at number 3 for some weird reason that I don't understand, even though I'm pretty sure it's a 5-shot kill. It has no recoil. It bounces onto the target really good, at least in my own experience. I was bouncing on the target, boom, instantly. I was dropping them. They got a couple shots on me. I noticed I was taking more damage than I probably would have if I was using a different gun, but regardless, I was still winning the gunfights, surprisingly. I know this is strange. Everyone's like, the M13 sucks. It's actually not too bad, especially when people say the Kilo is their favorite. Yeah, the M13 is statistically worse than the Kilo. I know this. I've watched gun guide videos about it. Yet for some reason, there is just something about the M13 that's just, it feels good. It works. It works the way you expect it to. Not with flying colors, but it gets an outstanding. It gets an A for effort, not an A++, not 100%. They didn't ace it. They're not valedictorian of the class. But if you go into it thinking that they're going to be wearing the dunce cap, don't be surprised when you're like, hey, this one's actually not too bad. And I'm saying don't be surprised, yet here I am surprised at myself for putting it at number 3. Coming in at number 2 is the Oden, and I really do like the Oden, and I was gonna put it a little lower. I was gonna put it under the Kilo, maybe at number 3, but I don't know, it ended up here at number 2, and I really do like the Oden. It might be the bias because I have an anime chick on it, even though my gun's platinum now, so it's like, that's cool that you can actually keep that blueprint and still make it relevant, even while putting a camo on it. But even still, running around playing with it, I was enjoying it. I was dropping fools left and right. Now this is, I don't know why this gun feels so much more different than the other high damage, high recoil weapons. This gun does bounce around a little, but you really can mitigate the recoil a lot better with the Oden than you can with the Scar or the AK. There is just something about the Oden that just feels so smooth. The recoil's way less than the Scar, yet it still has that 2-shot headshot capability, at least from what I'm remembering. I could be wrong. Please point it out if I'm wrong, and I'll pin your comment or something so everyone else knows that I'm wrong. Wait, why would I even do that? The Oden's good. The Oden's fun. It feels good. And even though I was like, Kilo's going above it, M13's going below it. The M13 did end up below it, but I was like, M13's getting like bottom, very bottom, 876, something like that. And switching between the Oden and the M13, I was enjoying them fairly equally. There's just something about the power that comes with the Oden that just feels so good when you drop your enemies, especially when there's multiple. You're getting collat shots. You're not getting collat kills, but you are getting like FMJ mitigated damage by the bullet going through their body, and then everyone behind them drops really fast, and you're just like, great. It's amazing. It's wonderful, and I really do love the Oden. Once I get Damascus, if I come around and play on the new maps, I'm gonna test them out, new seasons, see what's going on. The Kilo, the M13, the Oden are all guns that I would highly contemplate using because they're all so fun. They feel really good, and I don't know if I can actually bring myself to use the M4 anymore, even though even though it's number 1 on the list. That's right, the M4, I put it at number 1. Yes, I didn't want to. I went out of my way to not do it. I did everything in my power to not put the M4 at number 1. But I did play with all of the guns back to back to back to back. And for some reason, while getting around a 1 KD with every single gun, I got above a 3, I think. Or right below a 3. I was around a 3 with the M4. I was getting kills I didn't deserve getting. I would be like, nah, what, yeah. Like, man, oh, what's this guy doing? And I just turn and hip fire and get him in like 1 or 2 shots in the back. And I'm like, what? Was he even weakened? What happened there? This gun is just so overpowered. It's broken. I don't want to put it in number 1. But even under my own experiments, this gun outperforms all of the others by a mile. It's not even a competition. They really should do something about the M4 and the fact that it's getting the most use. I mean, if you take the next 2 most popular guns under the M4 and you put them together, they are not being used as much as the M4. There is something about that is just broken. There is something with this gun that is just so good and so overpowered that it is the meta of the game, along with the MP5 and the MP7, of course. But something about this gun is just ridiculous. I really didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to put it in number 1. I'm telling you, I went out of my way to put the Kilo at number 1, but I tested them and the Kilo came in at number 4 and the M4 came in at number 1, which is not what I want to tell you. I don't want to be up here and be like, hey, the M4 is the best, just use the M4. But the M4 is the best, just use the M4. I mean, until they change it. And if you've gotten all the rifles platinum and you're like, I just want to do good, you gotta have an M4 class. You just gotta. I really don't like it, because you see everybody with it, and I want to prove myself that I'm better without using it. But oh my god, it's just so overpowered. I'm rambling. I'm just repeating myself. And anyways, that's gonna wrap this one up. You guys knew this was coming, didn't you? The M4 is overpowered. It's the meta of the game. But what do you guys think? How would you rate the rifles? What is your favorite? I know the M4 is the best, but what is your favorite? Mine are the Oden, the Kilo, and surprisingly, I think the M13 might be a little more fun than the Kilo for me now. Somehow? I have no idea how, but let me know what you think. Hit the like button, hit the sub button, comment down below, notification bell, all that good stuff. And until next time, peace.